So, axioms like Aronofsky, Darren Aronofsky, and you set them out in the sun. Oh, half the face is emblazed in light, so the eye looks toward, and set up different things, try to find them out. It's a game. It's the MO. Media. I consume too much media, and it's made me this. I'm not sure if I like that. But then you have to like what you are. So what else are you gonna do? And well, not just that, but also because it's better and helps you be a better person, and that's like the whole game and shit. And elsewise, it's just kind of vending machine of drama that you figure. And by you, I mean me. Trying to narrate things. Media, it has this weird, universalist sort of ability to be. And I need to comb my hair. The day that I go through is, I could chunk information in here, I could not. Boring, coffee, media, universalism. But the universe is a universe, so it's a strange thing that we're given these different ways to. Because communication itself, you realize media isn't universalist because of what it can be, it's because of what it can't be, because what it can't be is incomplete, or it can be incomplete depending on how you treat it. But these kind of like new media types, critics and stuff who try to like sum up everything through it, can be pretentious, not because it's not very meaningful, which it is. Media can be pretty meaningful, but because it's acting as though you can have a conversation with it, which maybe you can, maybe you can't, but I think the point is that if you are having a conversation with it, then whatever you're going to say is going to be incomplete. But then people say something and it's a complete something. And this has to do with like analysis and stuff, which analysis will be its own art, but people confuse it because they think, oh, my analysis sums up this art, but it's only a corner of it. It's only your corner of it. And imagine the art as the center of like a circle, and we're all the points on a circle, and we're all looking at the center of the circle, and we have different opinions on the circle. And we imagine, oh, because I can see all the people, that sums up the circle. But that's just like uh each perspective happening at a different time, and you know not paying attention to the fact that the circle is something that there's an outside of, not just an inside. That there's a choice in the first place to even consume media is itself interesting. But what is interesting? I mean, that itself is kind of a dumb fucking question. What is interesting? Stuff's interesting. You see how like it sounds so stupid when I say it like that? When I say it like, what is interesting? Because that's stupid. So stupid. How dare you say it like that? Igarashi when they cry. When do they cry? And so then I was, ooh, that looks good. The following sentence I should make this the thumbnail. So I'm gonna sit here like this for a bit. So there's like on Rate Your Music, there were like 38 genres of film, and there's kind of the ones that are more straightforward, like what they're supposed to invoke, like action, adventure, comedy, drama, horror, stuff like that. And then there's, things that are to a certain era sort of hallmarks, like a western, a noir. Then there's different kind of, there's themes and movements, like for instance, zombie is a theme, or survival, or different stuff like that, putting you in this certain situation. And this is I was thinking, what does it mean to be true to life, right? Because life has many truths. And I should guess that fucking creamer. I'm gonna have to use some milk from my coffee. There's many truths to life, like that. There might be half and half in here, or down in the freezer. Did they put it in the freezer? I don't know. Just as, there's different perspectives. So, an insight might be that, as opposed to sort of a philosophical overarching framework, from a structuralist, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. As opposed to that, you could say, you can't swim in the same river twice at all. And you can't get half and half, because we're at a half and half. But movies are interesting because they're not really realistic, but you could say there's realism in, what we're not really a realism, but there's, the point of it is heroes we aspire to be, or on the other hand, villains, or characters that portray a certain idealized sort of viewpoint, worldview, because that's the meaningfulness, or the wham, tam, wowza. Because well, take any demographic, right? Young or old, guy or gal, or neither, or maybe you're neither young or old, you're in between. And it's the case that what you watch, you want it to appeal to you some way. This is my structuralist side showing. So there's the known knowns, unknown unknowns, known unknowns, and unknown knowns. So get out the whole structure, and you assume possibly there's, we engage in things that interest us, and we engage in things that don't interest us. But there's always some sort of facade of interest, because, you can't do something if you're not interested in it. It's just automatic. The interest kind of comes in. Even if you're bored as fuck, you're still doing it. So there's still the sort of sympathetic neurons, or whatever neuroscience bullshit I can make up, that go, oh yeah, I'm doing this, so I like doing this. It's familiarity, basically. And the only sort of sign that you don't like something is that, one, you're trying to say that you don't like it, and two, you're doing other things in your head. You're sort of dissociating, fantasizing, etc., etc. Um, so with movie genres, it has to grab you, and that's why movies are unrealistic. Is because it's a heightened sort of thing. The conversations are uh, more interesting than normal conversations you'd have. They're more densified. Everything is more densified in movies. Like, um, you edit out the downtime. You don't show them traveling places. You don't show the weeks of planning or the weeks of like nothing happening. You don't show the sort of time it takes to have one event happen after another, the waiting, the doubt, uncertainty. Although that's interesting too. You don't show, and this is another genre of oh, another genre of thing is um, life, because life, engaging it is different from viewing it. Now, if I viewed someone like paying their taxes, going throughout their day, that might be really boring, but at least I wouldn't have to do it myself. Um, you take a entirely passive stance on it, which is why, there's different types of media. And with this, you can take a more involved or passive stance as an audience. And of course, you're always somewhat an audience to what's happening. It's just you're either more or less unique of an audience. So, you're probably, unless you're a Twitch streamer, like the only one who's audience to your own life, or one of the only ones, if you have friends. And you're probably an audience for most of the time, whereas your friends are for less of the time. And your position as an audience member has more sort of boredom as part of it, more stress as part of it, more um, difficulty and more aspects of choice, more uncertainty. Because, movies, that's also, they're pretty easy to watch unless they're boring as shit. You can turn them off. You can't turn off life unless you want to. I mean, that's not good. Um, let's see. Difficult, boring. Um, oh yeah, you can predict what happens in movies. You know, and if you can't, that's actually part of the fun. Whereas in real life, if you can't predict things, that's actually kind of a pain in the ass, because it's like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. And so then that leaves you in sort of like a, oh shit, that's sort of analysis paralysis if you're too prone to that. Or it leaves you to kind of considering your choices and being like, well, if I do that, then there's this, and there's this commitment, there's this time commitment, like fucking time with, like, depending on the genre of person you are, and your sort of acquiescence to the expectations of others. Music. You'll spend less or more time on one thing or the other. What? Fuck you. You'll spend more or less time or on one thing or the other, either due to your own sort of involvement in it and interest in it, or due to others' involvement or interest in it. And at this level, it becomes sort of abstract because we have to mine whether or not it's our interest or the interest of others that's involved. And so sometimes it's best to factor both, of course, because you are others in others' eyes. But there's times when you can factor yourself more, and when you can factor others more. So more or less time spent in things, and then there's also more or less openness to things. I think that's all. I think that's all for the video. Yeah.